Two people died after a triple shooting in Denver's Five Points neighborhood. This was Saturday morning.
And Denver 7 has learned that one of the victims, the son of a community leader here in Denver.
After the crime scene tape and police markers are replaced by flowers and candles, unbearable pain.
I just want my baby back.
And loss consume this father whose son was taken from him.
In a moment fueled by grief and mistaken belief, a man who had recently suffered his own devastating loss would confront another man convinced that he was connected to taking the life of his son. That belief was not true, and in a single irreversible moment of anger, a life was taken. The nightmare first began on August 19, 2023, when a beloved and popular MMA fighter was at the wrong place at the wrong time and sadly lost his life. In the aftermath, a ripple effect would take place, causing a beloved community activist to go into a downward spiral that he could not come back from.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Heartbreaking words from Lumumba Sayers. His son, 23-year-old Lumumba Sayers Jr., the latest victim, killed in a shooting.
My son was a major factor in trying to help stop a lot of the youth here.
The father-son duo were loud voices in the fight to reduce youth violence. We even talked to them about the rise of violence during the pandemic. He says his son was kind, a de-escalator when tensions got high. And Sayers says enough is enough.
If the city don't come together now, this is possibly the end of my run with this stuff. I'm gonna call a meeting, and I expect everybody, I'm talking about, I don't care who it is, everybody who got something to do with the city, everybody that's in the neighborhood to show up.
23-year-old Lumumba Sayers Jr. had just become a new father, and he was already on track to become a star in the MMA world when his life was tragically cut short. For anyone living in the Denver, Colorado area or in the MMA world, you would know the name Lumumba Sayers. Not only did Lumumba Sayers Sr., but Lumumba Sayers Jr. were making their own mark in the sport. From a very young age, Jr. had decided to follow in his father's footsteps and start competing. He was athletic, determined, and focused, and he put in long hours at the gym to perfect his skills. Because he followed in his father's footsteps, they definitely had a bond that was unbreakable. From the age of 5, he started to shadow his father in mixed martial arts through attending practices and supporting Senior, and he began to embark on his own journey as a fighter and debuted his talent in July 2020 with a total knockout. Since around the age of 10, he worked alongside Senior at their family business, Sayers Citywide Movers. Through that family business, he also helped other young men make money and learn how to run their own business, and most importantly, share his father with those who needed guidance. Senior himself was a community activist and was a large presence in the Denver community.
Today, we just giving the kids in the community a safe place to be, safe candy, a great haunted house. And it's going to be pretty scary. I think the scariest part of the haunted house is going to be the graveyard. You know, a lot of bad things happen on Halloween. So we're trying to create a safe space for the community, the kids to come here, not just on Halloween, but every other day as well, too.
This is our 5th year in a row, so it's always fun to be able to serve the community.
It's always good to be able to give back to the community and just be a helping hand, be the light that everybody needs to see.
During Junior's young adulthood, he began to be involved in his dad's organization, which was called Heavy Hands, Heavy Hearts Foundation, and co-founded the Gloves Up, Guns Down, Get Your Head Up in the Hood youth prevention movement. Junior and Senior were both well known in the community because both were putting their best foot forward to make Denver safer daily and also help those young people in need. When Junior found out he was going to be a father and when his son was born in the summer of 2023, it was the best moment of his life. Sadly, his time with his son was short-lived because just 2 months after he was born, Junior just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and he would lose his life after an altercation took place between other people. Junior was said to be standing outside with some friends and loved ones around 3:50 a.m. in the area of 28th and Welton Street in the 5 Point neighborhood when words were exchanged with someone else in his group and then guns were pulled out.
I don't know how I'm going to make it past this one.
Lumumba Sayers says his son, 23-year-old Lumumba Sayers Jr., was changing his community.
This is the Heavy Hands, Heavy Hearts Foundation, the Heavy Hands, Heavy Hearts Center. And this is where my son came in and put in his work. He's a founder of the Gloves Up, Guns Down, Get Your Heads Up in the Hood movement. He was stopping a lot of the violence here in the community by putting on boxing matches and stuff and showing these kids that there's a different way.
Not only did he lose his life just 2 months after becoming a new father, but he was 2 weeks away from his 24th birthday. As you could tell from his father speaking, as any parent would be, he was gutted. He didn't know how something like this could happen to someone who was against that type of activity.
Hey man, say man, it's Lumumba Heavy Hand Sayers Jr. coming to talk, you feel me, directly, from the video. Like I said though, gloves up, guns down, get your heads up in the hood. Mighty Mouse Edition Part 2. You feel me? Hey, everybody pop out to this event, man. If y'all wanna come and put the gloves on, gloves up, guns down, you feel me? You got some beef. You feel me? Y'all, y'all don't want to leave it in the streets. Y'all want to squash it, so y'all want to live y'all's life. You feel me? Hit me up. Gloves up, guns down. Get your heads up in the hood. We could resolve all of that. You feel me? So y'all pop out May 7th.
1 month after the crime took place, law officials will make an arrest of a then 24-year-old Tyrell Braxton. He was held on suspicion of first-degree murder and first-degree harm. Not only did Junior lose his life, but another man was also unalived in the shooting, and 2 other females were also injured. After the police released the photo of the suspect, they received several tips of the person believed to be Tyrell Braxton. They also stated that cell phone records showed that his phone was at the crime scene. Surveillance video also showed Tyrell in an argument with the other man that was unalive before shots were fired. Because Tyrell was said to be firing indiscriminately in the direction where Junior was, he would also pull out a weapon in self-defense, but sadly, he was shot and unalive.
While Denver police have identified the suspect they say killed 2 people and injured another near downtown Denver last weekend. They're looking for Tyrell Braxton. A driver's license photo shows he has a tattoo on his neck and above his eyebrow. Police shared surveillance pictures of him from Saturday morning. Police say he shot 3 people at 28th and Welton just before 4 o'clock in the morning. The shooting killed Gulian Musawa and Lumumba Sayers.
Denver police have arrested a man they say shot 4 people last month. Police say Tyrell Braxton shot 4 people at 28th and Welton in the early morning hours of August 19th. Police had shared photos of their suspect. They finally found him yesterday. Braxton is now facing charges for murder. DPD says there was a fight before he ultimately opened fire.
With the alleged suspect being arrested, family of both Junior and the other man who lost his life were just one step closer to getting justice. However, more information would be gathered during the investigation that would change the course of everything. The accused suspect, Tyrell Braxton, had been out of federal prison for just 4 months and was on supervised release when authorities alleged he was one of at least 8 other shooters who fired 71 shots during that shootout in 5 Point. Even though Tyrell was initially arrested and charged with first-degree murder, the prosecuting office dropped the criminal case against him in December of 2023, alleging they didn't believe they had enough information and evidence to get a full conviction, despite the crime happening on camera. However, Tyrell was indicted a month later in federal court for being a felon with ammunition, and then he was convicted to 15 years in federal prison. This was definitely a heavy blow for him to not get convicted on the charge of murder. However, it was later determined that ballistic records show the bullet that hit Junior was not the bullet that would have came from the gun that Tyrell shot. However, as of this recording, there still has been no one officially charged for taking Junior's life. In the year following after Junior lost his life, his father continued to struggle to make amends in his mind of why something like this could have taken place. to a kid who was doing so good and doing the right thing and trying to make a difference in his community. On most days, he was posting on social media about his son and how much he missed him, and also just sharing a lot of special memories. In one post, he wrote, "To my best friend, I will always love you and miss you. Rest easy, my son." And he also would share some special posts that Junior made to him. On one post, Junior would write, "Today, my dad got an award for his work in the community. I'm pleased to say I'm proud of my dad for all the things he does for the community, kids, and young adults. Everybody that comes around him calls him Pops, and I'm happy that I can share my dad with others. I love you, man. Congratulations." It was very clear that Junior and Senior shared a very special bond. And as the days went by, things never became easier for the father who lost the son he called his twin. On one post, Senior said, "I've had people I've trusted with my life switch up on me, and all I did was help. My son was the same as me, but a better version of me. It's time to stop all of the harm and shut it down." Even though Senior found it very hard to go on without his son, he still was trying to strive to be the best community leader and help those in need, but now with an even greater purpose. He wanted everyone to know that he was still there and still present. And he wrote, "Heavy Hands and Heavy Heart Center are here to help by helping. The doors have never shut, and we are here for everyone that wants a change in their lives or their youth's life. Gloves Up, Guns Down was founded by my son and others and have slowed down the youth in the community. However, my son has lost his life to a gun crime, and it has caused a great impact to the youth and the adults in the community. We are still devastated, but continue to work and help the youth in his name."
Man, this is hard. This is hard. It's a hard thing. Dedicating my life to my family, to my kids. Love you too, man. And my Junior, man, that was my everything. I love that boy, man. He was with me every day. He was so much part of my life, all of us. He loved Colorado Combat. He loved his brothers and sisters, his moms, his cousins, everybody. That's just what he did, man. He always had a smile on his face, man. So please, y'all, don't forget about my son, man. He was the best fighter I ever trained, best fighter I ever had the opportunity to step in the ring with. And I was able to honor my son with his belt on my first show that I ever threw. And to give him one of his dreams that he always wanted was to fight on the same fight card as me, and we accomplished that. And my son became a champion that night. This is rough, man. Every day, man. Every day. Every day, man. My life consists so much of my son, man. I got my other kids with me, and I love my babies, and now I gotta pour into them the same way I poured into him. Love your kids every day. Let them know, man. If y'all got any problems with anybody in this world, let it go and move close to your family and hang on to God, because he's the only one that's holding me up right now. I'm weak, but I know God got me. I ain't gonna give up on God. I'm not mad at God. I love God. If y'all don't have a relationship with him, get one.
Well, come August of 2024, just a week shy of when Junior lost his life, his father was attending a peace rally earlier that day before tragedy would strike again at Commerce City Water Park. A 28-year-old man by the name of Malcolm Watson was at Paradise Island Water Park on August 10th to celebrate his son turning 5. What should have been an exciting day for the father of 3 turned into him tragically losing his life after he was confronted, allegedly by Senior, and shots were fired. It was then later reported that Senior, a former mixed martial art fighter and anti-gun violence activist whose son was gunned down in Denver's 5 Point neighborhood last year, was now arrested for murder after taking the life of a man to avenge his son's unaliving. According to the arrest affidavit, Senior is accused of shooting the man in the head during a child's birthday party on a Saturday evening at Pioneer Park in Commerce City. The victim, identified as Malcolm Watson, is believed to be a friend of the man, aka Tyrell Braxton, once believed to have unalived Senior's son. Watson, 28, was pronounced unalive at the scene with 3 gunshot wounds. Senior's arrest became a shock to many in the community, and while he sat behind bars, he continued to proclaim his innocence. According to what was reported, Senior allegedly targeted Malcolm because he was said to be a friend of Tyrell's, and allegedly Senior thought that he was out there that night when his son was taken. But it was determined that Malcolm was nowhere near the crime scene when Junior lost his life.
My brother was just an amazing brother. He was our protector. He was just always laughing, always had a smile on his face.
Those are the memories of Malcolm Watson that older sister Destiny Davis holds on to.
He was just my heart, my world.
Her family's world shattered.
This story is making waves all across the country. Lumumba Sayers is accused of shooting a 28-year-old man to avenge the 2023 death of his son. As a former MMA fighter, Sayers is known for encouraging young people to put on boxing gloves and get into the ring instead of using guns in the streets. He founded nonprofit Heavy Hands, Heavy Hearts, which put on events like this one in City Park. Heal the Hood was a peaceful picnic bringing the community together. Now fast forward to today, a entirely different story.
When it was time for Senior to go to trial in April of 2026, he took the stand to testify that he did not shoot or take the life of Malcolm, but he did admit to illegally carrying a gun without a concealed carry license. Also, there's been no murder weapon that has been recovered, but a witness recorded cell phone video showing Senior taking another gun, rubbing it on Malcolm's hands, and placing it on the ground near his body after the shooting. But at trial, Senior claimed another person shot Malcolm and fled, and that is when he attempted to retrieve a $15,000 gold necklace that he happened to drop near the victim's body. So this father, businessman, and activist was in for the fight of his life. Ultimately, the jury will find him guilty of attempted second-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and attempted to tamper with evidence.
Early on in this trial, it was a very emotional trial. I remember being here in the beginning, and today, before the judge read the verdict, he asked everyone in the courtroom to remain calm.
We, the jury, find the defendant Lumumba Sayers guilty of count number 1, murder in the second degree, signed by the foreperson.
That verdict from the judge for Lumumba Sayers Sr., who now stands convicted of killing a man at a birthday party in Commerce City in 2024. Sayers is a former professional MMA fighter who also tried to stop violence in the streets of Aurora.
On Friday, July 24, 2026, the judge sentenced Lumumba Sayers Sr. to 48 years in the Colorado Department of Corrections for second-degree murder and 18 months each for the charge of tampering with evidence and attempting to tamper with evidence. He will serve each of those counts consecutively.
After nearly 2 years of court hearings, Lumumba Sayers learned his fate today. 48 years in prison, the maximum sentence for second-degree murder. The emotion was clear from the time Sayers entered the courtroom. He arrived wearing a jail jumpsuit, shackled at the ankles with a sling on his right arm, and then he sat quietly as Malcolm Watson's family described the life they lost. Now, after the sentence was handed down, Sayers showed very little emotion and continued to disagree with the jury's findings that he was responsible for Watson's death. After the sentence was read, the judge ordered both families to leave separately and clear the parking lot immediately because of concerns about a possible confrontation.
Members of Malcolm's family took the stand and spoke on who he was, not just a man, but a brother, an uncle, a son, who above everything else loved being a father. His widow would state the trauma of that day still is with her, and that one of her kids told her they never wanted to have a birthday party again because they did not want to see her pass away. His mother would speak and say, "Our hearts are extremely shattered. Words can't describe the pain we feel. He took away everything from me. My son didn't deserve that. None of his siblings deserved that." Malcolm was said to be targeted because of the pain that Senior just couldn't get past, and it's very sad and tragic what took place. This tragedy has definitely left some people divided on how they feel. One person wrote, DA said inside of the courtroom, justice is carried out inside of courtrooms, not in parking lots in front of children by someone seeking revenge. That statement is true, but it also doesn't tell the whole story. Sometimes a headline or a courtroom sentence makes a tragedy sound simple when it's not. This wasn't just about one horrific decision, it was the aftermath of another horrific loss. A man who was known for standing up against crime lost his son to a crime. That kind of pain can change a person in a way most of us pray we'll never understand. None of that justifies what happened, but it does remind us that these tragedies don't begin with one act. They're often the result of a cycle that has already claimed lives. In the end, nobody wins. One son was buried, more lives were shattered, and sadly, children witnessed more crimes. Families on every side continue to grieve. Justice may end a case in court, but it doesn't end the heartbreak left behind. The human story is often more complicated than a single verdict or headline. Someone else said, "This man is a good man. His son was a carbon copy of him. He had a close relationship with his son. Every time I saw this man, I could see the hurt in his eyes. He was suffering and raging inside over losing his son, and people started moving on with their lives after it happened. I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying that I understand. The whole situation is sad and hurtful because he created a space for these kids. He tried to assist and mentor the youth, and he felt like they betrayed him. Sending my love and deepest condolences to all the families." And another person said, "Only thing he did wrong was not trying to get away with it." And another person wrote, "These comments are asinine. He unalived the wrong person, and had any of you followed the trial, you would know that." Another said, "I know Lumumba well. He was my student at Edge MMA for over a decade. He loves his son, his kids, his family, his friends, and he loved God. None of us can really say that we wouldn't have done a similar thing if our child was murdered. It's a very sad situation for both families and all involved. All around, it's so very tragic. Just to think, a few short years back, they were doing their thing in the MMA ring. He was training his son. Junior was ready to take on the world. And then all that ended, and it just shattered their family from there. And then tragically, someone else had to sadly lose their life because of this tragic crime. I just pray for healing for all involved and that the person who took Junior's life will be found sooner than later and justice be served. This is a very, very sad and tragic situation, especially because they were the advocates for the community, and now one is in jail and one is in the ground. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts. And do you think the justice system gave Senior the right punishment? Also, don't forget to comment your prayers and hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.